want to be Frank Sinatra's in here by now. Maybe we'll actually be able to get on schedule. Oh, God. The power going out. Seriously. Thought I told Biden to pay the power bill. Oh, God. Fine. Roll clip a new way. Beep. 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 Slightly higher pitch beep. Hello, everyone. I am Cody, host of Anything But Silent Cinema. Currently enjoying a power outage. However, today's episode is going to be covering the numbers of sellers on the market and how by the end of the 1920s, really, the cinema scene was looking better than ever, and the amount of effort that it took to produce a film versus producing a full-scale play. So let's get right into it. As I just mentioned, by the end of the 1920s, the cinema scene was looking phenomenal. People are absolutely eating these up, especially since it's a time of economic boom for the country. This means people are absolutely enjoying the ever-living hell out of going to the cinema, despite, how short or how long they are and how rudimentary they may be. This means that many, many different people saw the opportunity in the cinema scene and created these companies and got investors to back their new film production studios. This means that by the end of the 1920s, there were nearly 20 Hollywood studios. Now, whilst this may not sound like a bunch in today's numbers at all, considering how many film studios there are and how many companies are making shows and movies, they were producing nearly 400 films a year. Then compare that to 1920, there were only 27 plays produced. Obviously, it's not hard to see that there was an extreme difference in these two fields. Now, Cody, you may be asking, or completely not at all, staring at your phone silently as I talk to myself like a madman. Well, obviously there's going to be difference. Screenwriters have it so much easier than creating an entire theatrical production. Whilst you may be correct on that front, a movie isn't all too different from theater. You have to direct, you have to have actors, you have to have set pieces, you have to have stage directions. All that has to be on a script. Well, then what would make theater so much more difficult to produce than cinema? Or why is nobody making as many plays? Well, it's simple, my dear viewer. Cinemas were new and they're exciting. Well, the theater's starting to get pretty boring. 400 films. These aren't just standard, same film after film or sequels. A lot of these are artistic films. A lot of these are expression. I think the answer is nearly 200 of them were these types of films, while a lot of them also were just for entertainment and to make money. This means that the average viewer in this time period has a bunch of different movies they can go see. Some being animated, some being live action, some being even a creative mix of the two. While theater's starting to get really drab on the average consumer. I could go see the new exciting movie of the week or the month. Or I could go see, the 37,000th of reenactment of Shakespeare's Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet. And whilst I am harping on theater pretty badly, the audiences were starting to turn their backs to theater in vain of cinema. And you really can't blame them. And this obviously led to a downturn in what theatrical companies saw in terms of revenue. Cinema companies were booming with profits skyrocketing. And this means that people weren't going to the theater as much, and obviously means that profits are going to begin dipping. Which means people aren't going to be investing as much, which means that it's a never-ending vicious cycle. It's kind of what we saw in the 1920s, where cinema shot up to the sky and theatrical productions took a nosedive straight down to the underworld. But that's going to pretty much be the wrap-up of today's episode. I've been Cody, and we're about to do the fun fact of cinema of the day. Now, did you guys know that the origin of cinema and the idea of a motion picture actually came about from trying to settle a bet? Now, this bet was between two Frenchmen, and they were trying to figure out if there was a period in time in which all four of a horse's feet were off the ground at any point while it was running. So what they did was they took like a bunch of cameras and tripwires that would set them off like a few feet apart. Now, they then had a horse run across, and what they discovered was, well, these pictures are only slightly different, so when you shuffle them back and forth a bunch really quickly, it looks like the horse is running on the paper, which obviously it isn't, but it creates that illusion, which then led to the idea of the motion picture. Bet you didn't think that Marvel Avengers Endgame's great-great-grandfather was created to settle a bet now, did you guys? But I've been Cody. This has been Anything But Silent Cinema. Wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day, and bye.